Hello, everybody, and welcome to the music ranking and reviewing podcast that we like to call Music Meltdown, in which we take your favorite artists, discography, topic, musical related thing. We just throw it in, we rank, review, and rate all of them. This week, we're going to be tackling the discography of late 90s and ongoing to today. Indie rock, I wouldn't say icon, but if you know about them, you generally think of them in fairly high esteem. We're talking about Spoon. They're an interesting band, very indie rock. They're a figment of their time, I would say. They really do surmise that mid 90s, then the 2000s, and they always just kept evolving with the indie rock sounds of the time. And I think they're a really interesting group. They have 10 records to their name, and you may know this guy. He's been on a couple of times now. Had him for B-52s, in which I need the positive reinforcement. I had him with Soundgarden, in which I needed more positive reinforcement. But now we're talking about Spoon. We're heading to my specialty, my realm, the lame ass indie shit. But I don't know. Spoon's an interesting group for me. Your prior experience and overall thoughts?
Yeah, I dig Spoon. I think I first heard Gimme Fiction, and I have heard all of their albums more in recent years, and I never really got intimately familiar with them, but I certainly dig them.
Yeah, Spoon, as I said before, they're a bit of an interesting group for me. Just a fun fact, I'm a pretty big fan, and I think most people that are into music are decent fans of the YouTube channel Mike the Snare. He does the Deep Discog Dive YouTube series, and his favorite band actually is Spoon. So that kind of inspired me. I wanted to go check them out, see what they were like. He did a review for the new record, Lucifer On The Sofa, and I believe he said somewhere in there that the record that I have up here, Ga 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 Ga, which I will now call Ga times 5, because that is a stupid title. He said, I think this is a good place to start out with the group. So I heard this. I listened to it about twice before deciding to do this. And I thought that it was good. And I thought that they were definitely a group that I needed to explore further. But I didn't quite get the high level of acclaim that some people hold them in. I'm not so sure that I still get it, but I feel a little bit better about that now. That being said, though, they have 10 studio records.
All right, for number 10, I've got Transference from 2010. And I think the band was a bit burned out by this point, which singer Britt Daniel readily admitted. The band produced the album themselves, and I think they could have used an outside influence on this. Daniel has mentioned that working with other people helps him get out of his own set patterns. And so I think that would have been beneficial. The album is maybe a bit more raw and primitive than other releases. Fewer bells and whistles, although there's still a fair amount of electronic percussion. I'd say Spoon's greatest strength is probably the addictive rhythms they come up with. But I think those great rhythms are kind of lacking on this album. A lot of just overly basic rhythms. Britt Daniels' vocals sound great as usual. I really dig the slight rasp in his voice, very distinctive. The first 3 tracks on this album, I think, are some of the weakest they've ever recorded. The 4th track, Who Makes Your Money, has some off-kilter synths that are pretty cool. Written in Reverse gets my vote for best on the album, and there's some effective piano on that one. I Saw the Light has a very basic drum beat, but then goes off on an interesting musical tangent. Goodnight Laura is a straight up piano ballad. It's good despite sounding pretty conventional. Out Go the Lights is laid back, while the single Got Nuffin' has good energy with a driving bass and excellent guitar solos. The last track, Nobody Gets Me But You, I think that's the other outstanding track on the album. It's kind of funky and goes into some weird piano and effects at the end. Overall, I'd say it's their least inspired record, but it's still good. I've got it at 3.5.
Okay. Wow. To know
Surprised?
we very much so. To know we have a mutual that loves Spoon. Absolutely adores him. One of his 3 5-star records is for the one that you just talked about. So
Eric.
that is shocking to me. Wow. I did not, we have not had a disagreement like this in 3 episodes together. Shit. Well, alrighty then.
I don't think it's so much a hot take, judging from what I've read online.
And no, it's generally towards the lower end of their like rate your music averages, but neither of us have it at the dead bottom, but a lot of people say like the debut is for sure the worst. I definitely don't agree that. I think the first 2 have a lot of merits on their own right. But wow. Okay, anyways, my bottom, this is a little bit contentious. I know a lot of people really like this record. I don't hate it, but there's just one very notable issue with it for me. I'm talking about They Want My Soul. To me, pretty big step down from a lot of the records that they had before. And I'll get my big issue out of the way on this one. I hate the drum sound. I think the drums sound really terrible. They're really loud. They're really out in front, especially the snare. I think that just sounds horrible on this record, especially notable on the first couple of tracks. Just really ruins them for me. Even my favorite songs across this record sort of have that issue. And I think vocally, he's maybe overcompensating a bit, trying a bit harder than he needs to, and over singing a good bit. And it makes the first half of the record fairly underwhelming. Despite that, near the back half, there are some fairly good songs. Outlier, They Want My Soul, New York Kiss are kind of my clear standouts here. I don't think that's a bad record. Underneath the production, these are all pretty damn solid Spoon songs. I wouldn't call any of their songs necessarily bad. Spoon are one of those groups that kind of struggle and they fall into their own formula a lot of the time. They have a very defined sound and they stick true to that sound. It really does just come down to how much you like the individual songs that they have made. I tend to like a lot of that, but on this record, the production really gets into the way. Still up to 3 stars though. I think it's a fairly decent record with a pretty glaring flaw, in my opinion.
All right. Well, I think we're going to have some pretty glaring differences. Oh boy. All right. Let's go on to number 9. I've got Telephono from 1996. This is their first album, and it owes a heck of a lot to the Pixies. But I wouldn't say it's a pure copy. They have their own musical ideas in there as well. And they're really going for it on this one. There's some great punky energy. There's also some interesting rhythms, seeds that will grow into greatness on future releases. Cervantes starts out slow, then gets heavy. Nefarious is a great rocker with a cool pause in the middle. Claw's tracking has some repetitive guitars that are used to good effect. Dismember has some uncredited female background vocals that recall Kim Deal singing, so they're very Pixies on that one. Idiot Driver is dangerously catchy. Primary has great Clash-like punk energy. So this album rocks, but I got to take points off for being too derivative. I do like it though. I've got it at 3.75 stars. Really good.
Fucking quarter stars, my ass.
Oh, you hate those quarter stars. Oh, well.
They're not as bad as a 100-point scale, but like shit. Just don't
Yeah.
get it.
That's
Alrighty.
being nitpicky.
Yeah, we're having some disagreements. That record is going to be next for me, but beforehand, knocking out their other 2010s release, talking about Hot Thoughts. And thank God they fixed the drum sound on this record. So much, it's listenable. It's so much better. Just hate that sound on that record, just really bad. But yeah, this is a cool record. I just don't have a ton to say about it. This record was a little bit more interesting, had a couple more instrumentally led songs, but past that, it's kind of your standard affair from Spoon. Just without as strong highlights as the records above it. I fear it to be First Caress and Can I Sit Next to You, but generally speaking, it's just another dose of the Spoon sound. 3.5. It's good. And get used to me saying that because, like I was mentioning earlier, they have a very defined sound, and most of their records kind of operate within that landscape, I feel.
Okay, so we're at number 8. Here's where I drop the bombshell. This may be my most controversial placement. I've got Ga 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 from 2007. Ga 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 is likely their most highly acclaimed album. I find it to be very good, but somewhat lacking in excellent songs compared to some of their other releases. The opening song is excellent, though. An anti-President Bush Jr. song, that makes it even cooler. The second track, The Ghost of You Lingers, has no percussion, just staccato piano playing. And that's how they got their album title. It's supposed to be kind of copying the the way the piano sounds. The vocals are loaded with echo on that song, which I think is pretty cool. And not my favorite Spoon song though. You Got Your Cherry Bomb has some horns and xylophone. Don't You Ever is great. It's a cover of a long dead band called Natural History. I think the best song is clearly The Underdog. So catchy with its mariachi horns and hand clapping. Sounds like it could be a Simon and Garfunkel song. So good. My little Japanese cigarette case is less good. It's a rather uh, odd number with acoustic guitar. It's got an acoustic guitar solo that sounds like it belongs to another song. Kind of weird. Uh, Finer Feelings, supremely groovy, has a strange ghostly synth solo on the middle that's pretty cool. So yeah, I think it's a very good Spoon album. There's some cool experimentation on it. And I'm up to 4 stars. Very good.
Holy shit. There goes another one of Eric's fives. So you're doing a good job. You're fucking crazy. But okay. Gotta, gotta collect myself. Shit. Next up, I'm going to be talking about Telephono. It's a really solid indie rock record. Came out in the mid 90s. You can hear a lot of their main inspirations. There's a bit of Pixies, a bit of Pavement. And despite that, it's got some really solid hooks, some really good melody to it. Not Turning Off is great. Same with Cervantes and Nefarious. Idiot Driver was my favorite of the shorter songs on the record. And my main issue here is an issue that I have with a ton of records. It's just too many tracks for the runtime. It's 14 songs, but it's only 35 minutes. The songs just aren't given enough time to fully develop. They don't really operate in the format that I would wish that they would, and it's just a personal thing on my end. I gotta say though, if I'm comparing them to the Pixies, I like this way more than Trump them on. Yeah, it's a low 4-star record for me. It's really good, but I just don't think that it's amazing. It's a solid debut though.
All right, very cool, very cool. So we're at number 7. I've got Lucifer on the Sofa from this year. Heard it when it came out. The guitars are more prominent on this one than they have been for a while. The sound leads more towards classic rock than ever before, although they still sound very much like Spoon. Every song here is really strong, no weak points on the album. Opener Held is a Smog cover, slightly ominous sounding with a repeated guitar figure throughout. I love the way the guitars simulate jet engines. And I love the way they do the cutting on the hardest cut. The Devil and Mr. Jones has a tasty laid-back guitar solo. Wild is the standout track on this one. Great melodies at the chorus with those gospel piano chords. There's some tasty modern percussion touches in there too. My Babe, that's the other 5-star song on this album. Love the way that one builds. On the Radio is a feel-good song about listening to the radio at night as a kid. Astral Jacket is one of their mellowest songs. He seems to be comparing a woman to God in this one. God in quotes, because I don't believe there is a God. Um, Satellite is theatrical, the way it starts out mellow and becomes epic and loungy at the same time. It's got a supremely laid back guitar solo in there. The last track is the title track and continues the lounge vibe. Seems to be about a particularly heartbreaking breakup, and it's a chill way to end the album. So I'm up to 4.25 stars on this one. Almost excellent.
Shit, dude, what records did you listen to? Oh my God. Okay, I'm moving in chronological order here. I'm talking about a series of sneak snacks. Clear step forward from the debut, despite having a generally similar sound. However, the songs are just a lot more tight and they're a lot more defined in their personality. My favorites were The Minor, though, Reservations, Metal Detector, Metal School, and the stretch from Quincy Punk episode to The Agony of the Fate at the end. Once again, I don't have a ton to say about these records. It's just a pretty good indie rock record. Another low 4 stars. Really good.
All right. Cool beans. So we're at number 6. I've got Kill the Moonlight from 2002. It's got excellent production, full of interesting sonic touches. The piano is more prominent on this album. It's full of simple yet effective piano figures. The opener, Small Stakes, has some organ and a trippy ending. The Way We Get By, one of their best songs. It's led by a piano, and it's so cool the way it breaks into a different beat midway through. Love that. Something to Look Forward to is driven by a prominent bass guitar. There's a great change up at the pre-chorus that I love. Stay Don't Go makes use of a human beatbox, percussion style, with the mouth. Jonathan Fisk is a driving, chugging rocker about a real-life school bully who ended up becoming a fan in real life. I thought that was pretty interesting. Paper Tiger has some trippy echoes of Spoon, the Can song from which they took their name. And I think it's kind of a lame band name, Spoon. But I'm just used to it now. It's not really too consequential in the grand scheme of things. So I just kind of accept it. Spoon, whatever. Back to the Life is another 5-star song. It's got percussion that sounds like banging pool balls, the same sound used on Boogie with Stu by Led Zeppelin. And I think there may also be a Zeppelin influence in the guitar melody on that one. So Kill the Moonlight is a very strong album, almost excellent. It's another 4.25 stars.
Holy shit, I am just so confused. Shit, wow. Okay. Fuck. Next record I'm talking about is Girls Can Tell. Going into this, I didn't really know a ton of these records. I'd only heard God Times 5 going in full, and I actually heard it twice. But this was the record I was definitely the most excited for. I'd known their version of the song Me and the Bean. I meant to look it up because I heard this is actually a cover. And I just totally love it. I think it's like the best Foo Fighters song that band never made. I was hoping the rest of the record would be pretty similar. It seems like up to this point, they really doubled down on their sort of indie rock style. Before you could say that they kind of had a little bit of that alt rock influence, but here they're just, and to be fair, there's not that much to really separate, you could argue. And to me, this is like their full indie rock renaissance. And I think it's really strong. Aside from Me and the Bean, it's filled with a bunch of really, really good songs. Everything hits at once, lines from the suit, and the spoke as a movie, to name a couple of them. This is another 4-star record for me, but a good deal higher than the first two. This is kind of, maybe not this record, but going one up from here. My top 5 records are probably the ones that I could see myself going back to fairly often.
Okay, we're at number 5. I've got Gimme Fiction from 2005. This is another very, very good album. It's very creative, lots of interesting sound effects and weird things they do with the guitars. The first song, The Beast and Dragon Adored, has an almost haunting quality. There's some great low end piano and skronking guitar accents, just crazy about those. The Two Sides of Monsieur Valentine has some viola and cello, something a little different there. It's a good pop song. I Turn My Camera On is just addictive with that insistent staccato bass line. Sounds like a boner. It's just so bold. It's got lots of cool sonic touches. Love the noise at the end. I guess it's a guitar doing that. I don't know what's going on. One of their best songs, very danceable. Sister Jack is one of their more conventional songs. It's still cool though, and it's got some cool sound effects. I've heard other people criticize the second side of the album. I liked it. The Infinite Pet uses the blues as a foundation and then turns it into something completely different. It's quite trippy. Was It You is also trippy, very hypnotic. There's some offbeat keyboard touches in there and talking heads like sonic experimentation. Good stuff. They Never Got You sounds like it could be a Stroke song to me. The last track, Merchants of Soul, is kind of quirky with a prominent piano. So this is a very, very good album, but I'm still not quite at excellent. 4.25 stars.
Dude, what the fuck? Holy,
Am I wigging you out?
every placement. Damn. Wait, I don't think I've had a disagreement this start since I had like Steph on the podcast. Shit.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Fuck. Oh my God. We gotta do. Oh. Lucifer on the Sofa. It's a nice change of pace for Spoon at this point. After I kind of felt like they were really falling off. I think that this is really a step in the right direction for me. They feel a lot more invigorated to me. They're much closer to where apparently we disagree. I think at their peak is pretty blatantly the mid 2000s, but as it appears, we starkly disagree there. Great examples of such would be The Hardest Cut, The Devil and Mr. Jones, Feels All Right, Satellite, and the title tracks, all probably being their best songs in like 10 years at this point. To me, it's just an incredibly strong, far more consistent, and enjoyable record to anything that I had below it. This and my next record are both going to be high fours for me.
Still with the 4. Okay. So we're at number 4. I've got Girls Can Tell from 2001. This is the album where they become Spoon, the Spoon we know today. I think it's where they find their sound. It's much the same way Neil Peart claimed that Rush fully became Rush with moving pictures. This is just Spoon. The songwriting is noticeably improved here. They start using piano on this album, which would go on to be even more prominent on future albums. For example, Me and the Bean has a prominent piano figure. It's a cover of a song by the Side Hackers, whose bass player would go on to play bass on their next album, interestingly enough. The way it slows down at the end sounds like a tribute to A Forest by The Cure. Pretty cool. Lines in the Suit has a great rhythm, while The Fitted Shirt has cool repeated notes. Anything You Want employs a cool repeated organ note, very simple yet effective. This song is about Britt Daniels' ex-girlfriend, Eleanor Friedberger of the Fiery Furnaces, current solo artist, an amazingly talented woman. She seems super intelligent, and I bet she'd be a great date. Take the Fifth is another song with simple yet effective piano leads. And This Book Is a Movie is a great instrumental. I think it's a pivotal album for the band, and I'm up to 4.5 stars. Excellent.
Okay, okay. Not I'm not as wigged out by that choice, so that's cool.
Okay.
I'm calm. Next record I'm going to be talking about is Transference. While not having the high highs of the previous three records, Transference is another very good collection of songs. Per the usual, I absolutely love the keys. I think the bass is awesome on this record, and the drumming is just sublime. Everything is just really tight, and it really just showcases how great of a unit they are together. Songs like Before Destruction, Who Makes Your Money, Trouble Comes Running, and Out to the Lights are all classic Spoon songs, and they've perfected their sound by this point. My two favorites, however, are where they're mixing things up a good bit. The softer, more shortcut of Goodbye Laura is just very pretty. It's blissful. It's a great piano ballad, as you discussed prior. And the closer, Nobody Gets Me But You, has a really great bass line that just fills the entire track. It feels almost slightly disco-esque to me. To me, it's another really good, really consistent Spoon record. It's just not as good as the three before it. I have it at a high 4, and yeah, you're fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, we just don't see things the same, and that's what makes it so fun. Everybody's got
Yeah,
such wildly divergent opinions.
for sure. We've
All
already
right.
talked about my entire top 3, just a heads up. So,
All right. This will surprise you. Number 3, I've got their sophomore album, A Series of Sneaks, 1998. It retains much of the energy of their debut, but they're no longer beholden to the Pixies. It's like alt rock with some white boy funk mixed in. Those classic Spoon rhythms are coming into the picture at this point. Lots of big, brash, raw guitars on this one, which I love. It's a good mix of short songs and more standard length songs. I actually do like short songs. Utilitarian kicks things off with a great Spoon rhythm and punky energy. 30-gallon Tank has drums that are a great modification on a classic alt rock beat. Chloroform has a really cool guitar effect. I wish I knew what it was called, but it's just really cool sounding, kind of an echo effect. The second side is just loaded with stars. I would rate songs. I would rate 5 stars. The closer, Advanced Cassette, is great, but I kind of wish they had built up the ending a bit more. They were onto a great thing. I wish they had just taken it a bit further. But really good album. I'm sure my high rating and ranking on this one is controversial, but this is great. Very fun album. 4.5 stars.
no, yeah, I've actually heard plenty of good things about that record. I think it's really good. Um, Above a certain period of their records, no, get the hell away from me. But fair enough. I I can't fault you too much. This is an opinion based medium, and I can only express my disappointment in the best way that I know how. At my number 3, I'm going to have Kill the Moonlight. Up to this point, clearly the best Spoon record. But weirdly, once again, I don't have a ton to talk about with it. It's pretty different from Girls Can Tell, in my opinion. I get a lot more indie pop on this record compared to a lot of the other ones. Maybe something that would help to influence a group like Vampire Weekend later on in the decade. I much prefer the overall sound of this record. It's less dark, and the keys are really starting to shine through a lot more. It has some really great songs as well. I love Small Stakes, The Way We Get In, Jonathan Fisk, as well as Don't Let It Get You Down are all great songs. And to me, up to this point in the catalog, it's their most consistent, unique, and most engaging 4-record listen. For me, it's a low 4.5 stars. I think it's a great record.
Now we're at number 2, and I've got They Want My Soul from 2014. Now we have arrived at peak Spoon, in my opinion. It has a perfect mixture of all the elements they do so well, the great spoon rhythms, guitars and piano. There's some heavenly keys as well. Uh, Very modern sounding, which will appeal to some more than others. I really dig it. It kicks things off with Rent I Pay, which has such an infectious rhythm. Truly one of their best. Rainy Taxi has a hint of the blues, while the excellent Knock 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 has some effective whistling and a brief appearance of noise guitar at the end. I Just Don't Understand is a cover originally sung by Anne Margaret. It's a piano-led tune with a conventional song structure, yet they really nail it, and it's truly excellent. The closer, New York Kiss, just phenomenal, with a great rhythm and shimmering synths that cover the background, and a haunting chorus, so wonderful. I think this is a truly excellent album that could have taken the top spot. It's at number 2, 5 stars. You okay?
No. I just can't understand how you can listen to that drum sound. But anyway. Holy shit. Okay.
Maybe you need a good equalizer.
No, I need a Xanax. I'm going to be talking about Ga 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 now, and per the usual, because I'm bad at my job. Don't have a ton to say about this record. It's another really solid indie rock album. I just love the horns and the keys here. Once again, songs just incredibly tight and incredibly well made. I love Don't Make Me a Target. I Got Your Cherry Bomb. Spoiler alert, that's their best song. Wow, how the fuck did you just breeze by that one? It's amazing. The Underdog's really good, and I love my little Japanese cigarette case. It's super weird, super unique for them, and it's just so cool. There's not a ton more for me to add here. It's just another 4.5 stars. It's a great record. Oh my god, Hot Thoughts. What?
All right, 4.5. Okay, still not the top rating, but cool. And our orders may be pretty radically different, but I mean we're not too far off with our ratings. So okay, my number 1, Hot Thoughts from 2017. Hot Thoughts takes the top spot because for me it is their most consistently excellent album. I rate all of these songs 5 stars except one, Shotgun, which I find to be a little bit too conventional. And it also nicks the bass line from Duran Duran's Planet Earth. If not a direct copy, the same kind of style. And, who knows where John Taylor got it. But they dive further into electronica on this one than they have on any other album. It's loaded with tasty details and colors. The opening track, the title track, so delicious. Britt Daniels' falsetto sounds slightly distorted or treated, and there's some cool dub effects. The bell sound recalls Unfinished Sympathy by Massive Attack. Super cool song. Then you've got Whisper, I'll Listen to Hear It. That's up there with other great second songs like Red Barchetta. Well, maybe not that good, but it's a very notable second song, I would say. It starts with some insistent keys and soon transforms into something tougher, with New Order like bass lines. Britt's vocals sound treated. It's just excellent. Do I Have to Talk You Into It is supremely playful. It's a clever rewrite of The Beast and Dragon Adored. First Caress has some avant-garde piano and a great post-chorus. Can I Sit Next to You has a killer 70s boogie groove. I Ain't the One has some great keys, and it's so cool the way the beat comes in midway through with some ghostly effects. They're really good about changing up the beat mid song. They can do that so well. The last track is pretty interesting. Us, an intriguing turn into left field, an instrumental saxophone piece with beautiful accompaniment by the band. I love the way some punctuating synths come in briefly at the end. Very creative stuff. I'm guessing this is another hot take for most people, but I don't care. I love this album. 5 stars. My number one, Hot Thoughts.
Dude, what the fuck did you listen to? Did you like click the mute button on some of these other records and just like go based on memory? I'm just baffled more than anything. I mean, you like what you like. That's
Yeah.
cool, I guess. But like better stuff. Alrighty. Number one. I wish that you were giving me fiction right now because this is crazy. Once again for me, incredibly strong batch of material from the group. To me, it feels like the band early on were just getting better and better by each record. Songs getting a lot tighter, but Daniel is showcasing some of his best vocal work, as well. The keys are just exceptional. Once again, I feel like the songs are just incredibly great. My favorites are The Beast and Dragon Adored, I Turn My Camera On, Sister Jack, and I Summon You. I really wish I had more to say about these records, and I wish that I had more to say about Spoon as a group. But in my personal opinion, they're just a very strong band. They're a very good band. I might even call them a great band. This is another 4.5 stars for me. I think that's great, but there's something about them. I was alluding to this earlier. I have a lot of respect, and there's a lot of great stuff happening in the music, but for whatever reason, they just don't really, it just doesn't really connect with me in the way that other groups and other artists do. And I wish that they did, because they seem really up my alley. They incorporate a lot of really interesting elements into their music, but it just doesn't really connect with me in that sentiment. I still think that they have great records though, and there's plenty of incredibly good material all throughout all of them, except for Hot Thoughts, which I didn't even consider a song from my top 10. So
Yeah, well, yeah, you got to save that 5-star rating for the cream of the crop, and if they're not there, they're not there.
yeah, don't worry. I have my 5 stars saved for fucking Parachutes by Coldplay. So I'm saving it for the A plus material. Don't you worry.
All right. Okay, cool. Should we dive into songs?
Yeah, I mean, I made the list, so I might as well.
All right, top 10 songs. Let's do it. So I wrote down a top 10. I also have 10 honorable mentions. I'm just going to breeze right through these without much commentary. The honorable mentions I have: Quincy Punk Episode from a series of Sneaks, Believing is Art from Girls Can Tell, The Way We Get By from Kill the Moonlight, Was It You from Gimme Fiction, Don't You Ever from Ga 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 Ga, Knock 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 from They Want My Soul, Do I Have to Talk You Into It from Hot Thoughts, Pink Up from Hot Thoughts, Can I Sit Next to You from Hot Thoughts, and Wild from Lucifer on the Sofa. So my number 10 is Metal School from a series of Sneaks. Number 9 is Rent I Pay from They Want My Soul. Number 8 is Everything Hits at Once from Girls Can Tell. Number 7, Whisper I'll Listen to Hear It from Hot Thoughts. Number 6 is Chloroform from a series of Sneaks. Number 5 is Hot Thoughts from Hot Thoughts. Number 4 is The Underdog from Ga 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 Ga. Number 3 is I Turn My Camera On from Gimme Fiction. Number 2 is The Beast and Dragon Adored from Gimme Fiction. And my number 1 is the closing track from They Want My Soul, New York Kiss.
Wow, this whole show is just like a fucking bizarro episode. God damn. Your
I bet
number
we have
one,
something in common.
your number one song is from my least favorite record, one of the only ones I can tolerate. So yeah, that's fun. That's wacky. That's good. It's interesting. Yeah, I think there was a little bit of overlap there. I won't lie. Kind of on the edge right now, just confused, my friend. At number 10, I got a metal detector from a series of Sneaks. At number 9, I have Feels All Right from Lucifer on the Sofa, which maybe it's just me, but I kind of got a bit of like a Chili Peppers thing on this song. Like, is that just me? It had kind of like that funky, that like groove thing, but I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I mean, somebody had to make a good Chili Peppers song, so I'm glad that somebody finally stepped up and did it.
I think there's a good reason why you thought of it.
Okay, fair enough. Number 8 is going to be I Turn My Camera On from Gimme Fiction. 7 is Me and the Bean from Girls Can Tell. 6 is The Way We Get By from Kill the Moonlight. 5 is going to be Lucifer on the Sofa's title track. Number 4, Goodnight Laura from Transference. Number 3, I Summon You from Gimme Fiction. 2, funnily enough, we actually share this, Beast and Dragon Adored from Gimme Fiction. And the number 1, as I said before, You Got Your Cherry Bomb from God by 5. Some of the cuts that just missed for me, The Underdog, The Hardest Cut, The Devil and Mr. Jones, The Mirror Tough, and Don't Make Me a Target were kind of like my 5 bubbling under. And yeah, nothing from Hot Thoughts considered for my top 34. So I guess that's where we diverge. Well,
yeah, we're at the complete opposite ends of the scale on Hot Thoughts and They Want My Soul.
Yeah, wow. I'm the correct end. So no, those are actually like weirdly highly rated on Rate Your Music. I guess this is like an outlier opinion for me. It shouldn't be because I'm right, but I'm wrong. So yeah, we've done 3 episodes now. We were pretty in step for the other 2. Really only our top slots were the main things that we had different. So I guess this is some form of karma biting us in the ass here. It's just crazy. It's I mean, hey, we both like Spoon a good bit. I think you probably a little bit more than me, considering I think every single one of your scores were actually higher than mine. Well, not all of them, but you get what I mean. You were generally speaking higher score-wise.
Yeah, it sounds like I like them more than you. I got to 5 stars twice.
I got to 5 stars. Nice. So yeah. But yeah, this is fun. I enjoyed Spoon. Eric, I'm sorry for our friends fucking craziness, but I'll make sure to keep them in line next time and everything will be all right. That being said though, after this, interesting. My absolute favorite bands, arguably at this point in time, we're going to be covering possibly my favorite band in general. Going to be covering the 14 album discography of the Electric Light Orchestra.
All right. Are you a fan? Looks like it.
No, I hate these guys. I'm gonna have 13 of the 14 records on CD by tomorrow, so I guess that gives you an indicator about one record I'm not as into. But yeah, just utterly exceptional 70s orchestrated pop. Has a good bit of the disco record. They have some synth pop elements. They have the earlier prog stuff. Really, if you can't get into ELO, you're the problem. So that being said, this was Spoon. I hope somebody can agree with one of us at least. We were on pretty different ends of things. So I think it'll be easy to pick out which side you agree on, unless you're a freak and you like the first 2 the best. So that being said, though, I hope you all enjoyed. I hope one of us didn't put you into shock like I'm in right now. That being said, hope you enjoy. Hope you continue to watch, and y'all have a great one. Bye.